think about it, for us, customers are putting in our product some of their most important information, right? You might be a hospital putting information about your patients into Profisee. You might be a financial institution putting information about who your customers are, right? And and that can carry with it, highly sensitive identifiers, social security numbers, a lot of kind of personal demographic information. If a company was to suffer a breach, that would be the most sensitive information out there. So we viewed, doing it right. A big part of that was security, making sure that this thing was architected for security from the beginning, that it wasn't treated as an afterthought.
Well, let's start with the big elephant in the room, security, right? From the beginning, our entire intention was always to make this system as secure as possible, right? To follow best practices and to do it in a way that really it's impossible almost to make an insecure configuration, right? And that's where the infrastructure as code piece came in.
We wanted to be highly available. We wanted to have things like disaster recovery built in. We wanted to have automated monitoring and alerting built into this platform. We needed to be able to something that we could rapidly deploy to multiple regions across the world in order to satisfy data sovereignty requirements.
Well, I think that Profisee was just in a really unique place. It's not every single day where a successful software company says, I want to fundamentally change my business and do it in a way where I'm a software as a service on the internet. That's just unique.
So our cloud journey really started 3 years ago. And at that time, we knew that we ultimately wanted to become a truly cloud-native SaaS MDM vendor. But we knew in order to do it correctly, it was going to take a few different phases of work. So that first phase was really a pretty significant set of architectural changes to the platform in order to take a platform that was built for people to run in their data center on a VM and re-architect it to where it can run natively in the cloud. That culminated in the ability for us to now package the platform as a container. That container is something that then customers can take themselves and run natively in the cloud using a container orchestration tool such as Kubernetes. The work remaining was really around creating the infrastructure and the tooling around taking those containers and being able to run them in a secure and automated way on behalf of our customers.
The truth is that there wasn't an MDM SaaS provider in the industry. It didn't exist. And so when Profisee came to us and said, listen, we want to be the first. We want to be the first ones that have done this. And they got themselves ready. But what they really needed is they need someone to help them to really cross that chasm.
For a software company like Profisee, we already have a lot of really sharp and smart people here that can do a lot of that heavy lifting. And what's great about working with Solliance is that they have a model where we can basically go grab some really, really high-end people and then bring them in a model that makes sense for us. It's really, the engagement model really works well for us as far as kind of the right amount of help from the right people for the right duration of time. And it's something that you don't really see many other consulting firms offering just because their business model is fundamentally different.
It's so exciting when we hear about people migrating to the cloud, but there is a lot of risks. I mean, it's a new core competency that every single organization needs to start to develop. And you know what? People like Solliance have already built up a lot of those best practices.
We really focus on cloud technologies, we focus on data and AI, and in my universe, we focus on DevOps and cloud infrastructures. So the first part was an architecture design session, and that's where we spent time listening and hearing, and then capturing their goals, their fears, things they're worried about. We were talking about security or access or speed, things like that. The types of things that their clients are going to be worried about, right? So once we really captured that and understood what they were looking for, that's when the light bulb went off. And that's where the two partnerships come into play.
It allowed us, a couple things, it allowed us to move more quickly because we had the right resources and knowledge to move quickly and get something done very fast. But it also allowed us to work hand in hand with Solliance so that when this initial push was complete, we had a team that was able to then carry this thing forward.
If you're learning on your own, you're going to have to go through the pain, right? There are a bunch of tools and there are a lot of best practices that can be used to really quickly get you into a place where you want to be, right? Instead of you having to learn your way through that pain. You don't have to do that. And that was the case at Profisee. They wanted to do it fast and they wanted to do it right. And so with our expertise and with the tools from HashiCorp, we were able to make that come alive.
We were just over 100 days from first line of code to customer running in Profisee SaaS platform.
Going from nothing to a customer in 100 days is incredible.
By using Terraform and the concept of private registries, you can have a bunch of modules that have those best-of-breed practices from your global risk and compliance and security groups are already predefined. And this allows people like Profisee or others that don't have cloud security as their core competency to be able to rely upon people such as Solliance to implement a clean solution where they can feel relatively comfortable about what they're actually putting in a production environment and not risking their clients' data.
So what's really interesting about Terraform is the ability to manage all different types of things. You could manage any number of cloud providers, you can manage hardware vendors, tools. So your development team can learn the language and then they can control almost anything in the data center.
Profisee did a great job with moving to the cloud and put themselves in a spot where they can deploy on demand and has a secure and scalable environment that they can maintain and grow in time to meet their customers' demands very, very quickly.
6 months ago, no one on our team had ever touched Terraform, written a line of Terraform. We now have created that team through a combination of internal existing employees that have joined this team and learned it. We've also been able to hire some folks from outside with experience. And we now have a full SaaS operations team and DevOps team that's actually managing this. And I kind of have this mantra as if you're going to do something, do it right. And I think in this case we have, right? We haven't taken any shortcuts. There's nothing we've done that we look back and go, gosh, I wish we would have done it a different way. We really took the time and got the right people together for us to do this right the first time.
I think that was what was so exciting about this was, seeing them with a desire to not only change their company, but quite frankly, change an industry because they're the first. What's cooler than that?